going on? How you guys?
I'm hanging in there, dude. Busy, busy, busy.
Same, but we're good. We got it.
Yeah, no doubt. A little bit of miscommunication between us, but yeah,
Yep. That's the one challenge with having Josh in a different time zone is he was thinking it was another hour from now, so we had to rush to get him in here.
yeah.
So welcome,
Yeah,
guys, to our first our first official, Urban Ag with all three of us on live on StreamYard. We appreciate you guys being here. And one thing we wanted to throw out there is if you're a member of Urban Ag Academy, if you ask questions in the chat tonight, make sure you put member in front of your questions. That way we're going to make sure you guys get answered first. So Josh and Robert, how are your weeks, man?
Man, dude, I've been slammed. So I just got back to the office, and my first day back was, Friday? Yeah, Friday. So I took the weekend off immediately, man. It's just, I've been balls to the wall. So burnout for sure, dude. So took the weekend off, got reset, refreshed, hung out with the family, got to spend some good time with them because family's first. Now, new week just hit. So it's back to the grind. I'm doing cold calls, reaching out, outreach, just business 101.
Yeah, for me, it's been a crazy week. My daughter's been sick, and we are still in the process of moving. So, like I said, I feel like everything the last 3 weeks, everything has just been one after the other, no break. But hey, better that than the other way. We finally got our Bootstrap Farmer tray washer all put together and got it working today. We're happy with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was really debating getting that thing. I'm really back and forth on it.
Now they're sold out again.
Wow. Are they really?
Yeah, because last time when I was going to buy it, it only had 5 left. Then I went back an hour later and it was gone. And so when I looked at it again, I got an email saying, "Oh, it's good, available." There was only 2 left. So I'm like, dang, I don't got time to just get it. So
yeah, they're selling more of those than I thought they would, I guess.
Yeah. Or maybe they only produced 5.
You had used it today, correct?
Yep, we used it today. Yep.
So it performed as advertised?
It did. It worked really well. And also too, like, we're at the bottom level for the pressure washer. Like we could have a much more powerful pressure washer attached. That's crazy. We washed a ton of trays in just a little bit of time. It was good.
That's cool, one benefit about being in Florida is you can do it all year outdoors.
Yeah, and we've been doing it outdoors anyways, but now we don't have to. We're pressure wash, holding the pressure washer, walking back and forth, picking up stacks. Now it's just all the tray washer. It's like the size of it's smaller than a bale of Pro Mix. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I wasn't expecting it to be that small, but anyways, it worked.
Yeah, for us it was we passed our electrical inspection on our new space yesterday, Monday. I don't even know what day of the week it is now. And then we passed our final building inspection, thank God, today. So now we can actually start moving in. Hopefully we're going to move in on either Sunday or Monday or both days. So we'll be into our 4,000 square foot space, which is going to be pretty insane. So it's good stuff.
Full before you know it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's going to look insane once we move in because it's going to take up such little space.
That's awesome.
All right. Thanks, man.
It's been at least, I don't know, probably 3 months of
it's been way more than that. Yeah. I've had keys to the building since September 6th. That's how long this process has been. And the problem is, like, the building itself they never registered the address of the building with the county. And that was really what slowed us down because they had no record whatsoever of this place even existing. So because we changed it from retail to something else, then they made us go through that whole entire process. That's what took so long. But it's been a nightmare. But we're almost there, thank God.
County's got to get their. I said the county's got to get their piece of it too.
Yeah, for real. It's been a disaster. Especially when it came to electric, man. They were like failing us for every single reason they could think of. It was nuts. All right, so as we mentioned earlier, and I put it in the chat as well, make sure you guys, if you're a member of Urban Ag Academy, make sure you put member in front of your question. That way we're going to make sure your questions get answered first tonight. We'll go through kind of what we've got so far because I haven't seen that happen yet. Because I think we've got, 100 and something people in here, at least at this point. But we're going to try and get to everybody as best we can. But our members are definitely a priority. And if you haven't already joined our Urban Ag Academy on School, the link is right there on the screen. Make sure you jump in. Me, Josh, and Robert are always running that bad boy. So we're posting new content all the time. We answer questions in there in way more detail than we typically do on other Facebook groups and things like that. So jump in there, get some really professional help. This is a mentorship. This is not a group that you just go in and chat. This is us literally helping you guys build your business in the best way possible, to make sure you guys are successful. You're going to save a lot of time and effort trying to figure things out, trying to learn new things. We got a chef series that I recently did where I interviewed some chefs and talked about, what they're looking for, the best times are to show up, what the process looks like. And it was literally directly from chefs. And I know Robert's working on the edible flowers, set up as well. He's got a grow guide in there what to do to grow flowers. And I know he's working on some video content for that as well. And then Josh has got his entire course, that he's had for years and years and years to get people to success. So make sure you jump in there and check that out as well. So if you go in, you go to the classroom section. That's where you find all that content with the discussion board. Anybody that's in this group can comment. The discussion board is amazing. It's very, very supportive. We're always in there pushing everybody forward and up. So definitely join that group if you decide to do so. And if not, you can just hang out tonight and get some questions answered.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add too is just being in a community full of like-minded people that are self-starters, self-driven, and have an amazing support system. Robert, I don't want to toot y'all horns for y'all, but both of y'all have built astounding businesses, and I don't think y'all receive enough credit for that online. So definitely, guys, if y'all are thinking about getting into the group, these two beside me here today, they run 500, 600 tray a week businesses. So they're legit.
Yep. Yeah. What are you up to now, Robert? Like 46 racks or something insane?
Yeah, we're at 44 racks, but
that's crazy.
Obviously I grow a lot of cilantro, a lot of bacon. So, so I got a lot of racks dedicated, but there's 44 in there and 3 racks of flowers.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're at 32 at the moment. It's just because we ran out of room. So, we can get 168 racks in our new space, which I'm super excited about. So if we ever grow into that whole place, it'll be a real good shape.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So we want to jump into some of the questions. We got a bunch of stuff flowing through here. Let's see. So we got Mark is asking, at what point did you make your first hire and for what position? You guys want to take that?
Sure. So Mark, you got to understand first, I work full time. And when I started this business, my wife worked full time as well. So when we got to the point to where we had to make that decision, of course it was easy. My wife would go ahead and step away from her role. She was a school nurse, and she resumed, I guess you'd say, first employee of the business. That allowed me to continue to make the money I'm making and invest profits back into the business. So we did that. When it really came down to it, it was a time management thing. So one, the business was sustained for a longevity of a period, right? There was a period of time to where we thought that we were doing well, and then that period just compounded onto each other, right? And then we finally decided to take the leap. Probably, I'd say maybe 6 months into business, Mandy was able to just start working full time for the business. So the real issue we hit was we couldn't do everything and work full time. So when you have to delegate time, that's when it's time to hire someone. For me, how about you?
I agree with that. Technically, we have one employee that works maybe 4 to 6 hours a week, just a high school kid that helps tray washing and filling the trays. But, it started off similar to Josh, where we started small and a job that took care of all of our bills, everything like that. So we reinvested all the profits back into the business to grow it to the point where I could quit my job and do it full time. And we've been at that point for now about a year and 6 months that me and my wife both are full time with this business. Our son helps us. He's 18. And then I'm hoping my brother's going to come down from my brother will be coming down from Tennessee this summer to help out. And so I'll have some help. It's a lot doing it all. It's a lot. So like Josh said, I'm definitely feeling like let's delegate some stuff for sure.
Oh man.
Yeah. And for us, I mean, we started in May of 2020, and we definitely the first position we hired was tray washer. And I would suggest that for everybody. Find a teenager, find a kid. If you got a kid of your own, just pay them. You don't have to pay them legally. Just pay them $10 an hour under the table or something like that. If they're a kid, if they're under, if they can't work legally yet, it's like a relative of yours or something like that. Just give them something, just as something to give them a first job. So we started that, I think, in probably late 2020. Started paying our daughter to actually do the trays, because that's definitely the worst job. It takes a lot of time, but it kind of gave her an idea of like what hard work really looks like, before she actually was old enough to work a regular job. So it was kind of nice to give her that intro into that world. But that was definitely the first thing that we hired for, and it was. Just out of this, it wasn't really out of necessity. It was more just because we didn't feel like doing the job, and we figured we could pay her to do it. So, but I mean, now we've got 2 full-timers and 3 part-timers. And I will say, over time, your employees will be your most expensive thing you have if you allow it to go that route. Because even with rent, even with everything else that we've got, our employees are still more expensive every single month. But that's a decision we made, because we wanted to actually build this foundation of people, a really solid team that's really well trained and they know everything. And then I can build just an empire on top of them, so it's sort of going to allow us to move into this bigger space and hit the ground running, because I'm going to be a full-time sales guy. These guys handle everything. The whole entire farm is managed by them. They do all the planting, all the harvesting if necessary. They know everything inside and out. They can recognize every single plant in every single stage without labels. They don't even need it, so that's a beautiful place to be at this point. So now I've got this solid just cornerstone to build on top of, which is awesome. So, but yeah, I mean, I would definitely say hire slow and fire fast. That's good advice, because if you have somebody that's not working, don't just try and force them to work inside of your system. Definitely if they're not working out for you, then get rid of them if you can. Like our state, I can't remember what the term is called, but it's like we can pretty much fire anybody for any reason.
At
You
will.
don't have to like go through a process. Yeah. What is it?
Right to
Yeah,
fire.
at will. Yep. Yep. So thankfully we have that in our state. I don't know if every other state's got it, but definitely check on that before you start hiring, because if you have to go through an entire process just to get rid of a person, it's a giant pain in the butt. It's a whole lot easier if you got at will, where you can just say, you're not working out, sorry, and move on. But
I'd like to point out too that you said that really should underline this topic is by pretty much, and I'm just paraphrasing, but pretty much by building that cornerstone, by hiring that team, and it's allowed you to become essentially a full-time salesman. You've hired out the monotonous task, right? And you're focused, and as all 3 of us are aware, I mean, as business owners, income is our main priority, point blank. The operation doesn't get fed without income. So by hiring out, someone washing trays, someone harvesting, someone planting, whatever, it just frees your time up to go focus on income producing opportunities.
100%. Yeah, because every minute you're spending doing farm work, you're not spending reaching out to new people, making new contacts, cold calling, emailing, messaging, whatever you decide to do to reach out to your customer base. You're losing time, investing time into the farm itself. So it's very tough, especially if if you have a farm the size of Robert and I mean, it's insane. I mean, Robert works his butt off, because he doesn't have as many people as I do. So, but he's constantly running around like a crazy man, but he also is making a killing because of it. He doesn't have any employees to pay, or at least doesn't have not nearly the level that we got as far as expenses going out the door. So, it's much harder for us to make money and get to that point where we can actually cancel out all the stuff that's going out the door. But our goal was different. A lot of people I would recommend start out small and build it and reinvest and do it by yourself as long as you can, because that's the way you're going to make the most money. We're in a different scenario where we're able to afford to go down this road. So that's why we kind of thought, okay, let's build a really solid team, and then we can just explode from that point. So this year and next year are going to be huge for us. Huge.
I love it, man.
Keep your sanity. Keep your.
What's that?
Those employees will help you keep your sanity. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. That and farm flow. That's definitely how I keep my sanity. All right. So we got a real quick question from Austin. So he was asking if it was the Bootstrap Farmer Washer, and I'm assuming it is.
Yes.
And then he also said, good morning. And then, Manning. I'm not sure what that means.
You
Peyton
got
Manning,
to post
Eli
that in
Manning.
the group.
Yeah. Who's your Manning? Archie Manning?
Arch.
All
right, see if we got any other member questions in here. Yep, there's another one from Mark. So at what point did you, oh, that's the same one. Let me skip over that one. Sorry, guys, there's about a bazillion comments to look through. Do any of you have templates for business docs you can share? So in the classroom in school, and Astrid, you're obviously in there, I've posted a couple things in my classroom just under like a templates and documents thing. I think I've got a chef price sheet and a couple other things in there as well. So like, if you have an idea of what you're looking for, put that in the comments, and certainly we can try and make something happen for you at school.
Yeah, Sam, I got the price sheet. I think as far as business docs, that's really what it goes down to. I think I got some marketing material, some PDFs or some flyers that we created back in the day. And funny thing about that is I see them everywhere now because I gave them for free, and I see them. I get hit. I guess it's because I'm involved with microgreens, but I'll get hit with ads from like 5 states away. And this ad will be the flyer that Mandy created back in 2020, and it's got her pictures on it. So that's how I know. And all they've done is swap the logo. But it's pretty cool. But I want to say Robert's got flower grow guides as part of his PDFs and a few other things. But definitely, like, let us know what it is you're looking for, and the three of us can come up with something brilliant and help you out.
Yep. Yeah, and you can either post that in school, or if you want to ask the question in the comments, since you're a member, Astrid, obviously feel free. Either way works for us. All right, so I got a big, long question from Kathy here. Hopefully it all fits on the screen. It does. The community is key. Robert and Santiago has inspired me with edible flowers. Andy Fresh Source Farms inspired with business building in Maryland, and as a fellow Maryland grower, which I love. What was your step from growing out of home, aka CEA garage, to a new space? Time management when 2 people are working full time is challenging. How did you do this, and etc.? I can go first if you guys want. So for us, our house is not really that big. Our biggest room in the whole house is 12 by 18, and that's by far the biggest room. So when we outgrew our dining room, we moved into that room, and we were only able to get about 7 racks, I believe, in there. We had a couple harvesting tables, a fridge. It was really cramped. So much so that when we walked down the aisle to grab trays, we literally had to back out the aisle straight because you couldn't even turn around. We had them so tightly together. So it was probably a fire hazard ultimately, but we made it work. So for us, it was really, we had no choice. I mean, in order to move out, in order to grow more, basically, which we knew we were doing because it was growing quickly, we had to find room. So we originally tried to actually build a building on our property, which I think is what Robert's goal is to do. And the funny thing is that building was going to be 1,800 square feet, and we would have already outgrown it by now. So that was the one challenge. So luckily the county didn't allow us to do it, and we were able to move into the 2,000 square foot space that we're in right now. And now we're working on moving into a 4,000. But really for us, it was realizing that we just needed room. But there's a lot that comes with it. I mean, you've got, rent. So if you have a mortgage or rent already, you're now adding a second one. If you've got 2 things of electric, 2 things of internet, 2 things of trash, every single utility and everything you use at your house, you're going to double that. So there's a lot of added expense coming into that process. So just make sure you're 100% ready for it. What about you, Josh? I don't know where Robert went.
So when it was time for us to scale out if y'all have been following the journey, we're starting a shed. We knew it was time to scale out the shed. I mean, we had maxed the shed out. So there was literally no more space. And funny thing is, when it was time, my wife and I was in Pensacola, Florida, and we were looking at spaces. And we had been kind of just looking, but we had come across a building that was literally fit everything we needed. It was a warehouse that was climate controlled because, we have the Greener Harvest seeds. And it gave us a good opportunity to do rebrand. So we rebranded from Shilson's Farms to Greener Harvest and Greener Harvest Seeds. So we maxed that space out. And at that point, I knew that we had to scale up. There was no question about it. And by doing that, it allows you a little bit more freedom of movement, and it allows you to scale your business. So we were getting hindered by space in terms of scaling our business. That's how we knew it was time to scale.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I want to. Yeah, go ahead, Robert. And I want to make sure we add because she also asked how we actually managed to make it happen. So I want to make sure we answer that too.
Well, for me, started in the office, got up to about 8, then moved into the garage, and we got to about 22 in the garage. And of course, I still had my job at that point, so we were putting money into electrical, into mini split, just everything, trays and lights. It is, especially if you're growing fast, it's a lot of stuff. But it's the same as you guys. I got to the point where it's like I can't grow anymore here, and business out there for me to capture. So do I wait a year and let another company come up and take the business, or do I make our move and go? And it was stretched us thin. I quit my job. Said, I'm doing this full time. We were at the amount we need to be at. But then we got into the warehouse, and we did take an SBA loan, a small SBA, just to float us. But that definitely helped. But other than that, I mean, the jump was just necessary. It was either make the jump or stay where you're at and coast. And I'm not good at coasting.
Yeah, no doubt. As far as making it happen, I mean, by that time, we had cash reserves built up. So really, it wasn't a question of can we do it. It was like how fast can we get this done, because there's money that we're leaving on the table from not scaling. So once you hit that level, if you have to ask yourself, do I really need it? You probably don't need it. And I actually was talking to a grower out of Chicago. Robert, I know you follow him. Man, I cannot remember this guy's name. Dang.
Justin.
Anyway, who?
Justin out of Chicago.
Yeah. What's the name of his business?
Sasquatch.
No, there's another one. Anyways, he sent me videos of his basement that he's retrofitted, to a growing environment. And he's like, how do I know when to scale out of there? So I'm looking at the videos and I'm like, yeah, he could definitely squat racks down. I know Robert, Andy both know about that. You could definitely, there's still space all in there. So I was like, look, man, you don't let your ego buy your spot, right? You need to make sure that you're making full advantage, or you're using full advantage of the space that you have. And I see a lot of people that try to ego buy and get into a spot that they really don't need, or they're that's too much for them. And like Andy said, by doing that, if he'd have done this, pulled out, he realized. But if he'd have pulled out of his basement, that's now a second rent or a second mortgage. That's second electrical, and that adds up. I know, just for me speaking on my warehouse, that's $2,000 a month. That's not near as much as what others pay, but that's no small number, especially for us being in Hurricane Alley now. So we have a bad season. I could go months without making income.
Yeah, and I would say the hardest thing is actually finding your space, because ultimately you've got to find something that's got electric, it's got plumbing, it's got preferably floor drains, because you got to have to put sinks in and stuff like that to be able to wash your trays. So there's a lot involved. It's way more than that. But beyond that, you've got to deal with permitting. You've got to get a building permit in most cases. You may have to hire electricians. You may have to hire plumbers. You may have to hire, general contractors, depending on what work needs to be done in the space. And you also have to think like safety, food safety to a certain extent. You also have to think about is insulation up in the ceiling that's going to fall down on my microgreens? Do I need to cover that? There's so much involved. It's a process. When we moved into the space that we're in right now, it took about 3 months. But we also had to put a whole new floor in. There was a whole bunch of work needed to be done in that place because it was retail. We also had a retail store, so we had to get the whole store up and running. We were managed to do all of that and stock it with thousands of products within 3 months. Literally, we got keys on January 1st, and we moved in on like April 1st, and we're open to the public, which was crazy. So it was a lot of work. I was full time at that point, which made it easy to actually be able to get all that done. I had all that time to be able to go in there and do that stuff. But the space we're in now, totally different story. It was mostly ready, but dealing with the county has been a disaster because, like I said, at the beginning of the podcast, if it was like they didn't have the address registered, so we had to go through this whole entire process to actually get that all set up, which was a nightmare. The electrical inspector in this county is very, 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 very tight on every little tiny thing he does. So it was really tough to get him to pass the electrical, even though everything looked fine. He holds it at a way higher standard than most inspectors are going to. And so, we had keys on September 6th of last year, and we just got the final building permit approval today. So it's been almost 7 months, since we started, roughly. So it can be a process. Now you got to remember, this is us paying our mortgage on our house, paying the rent in our current space, and paying the rent in the new space since November 1st, basically, when the rent actually started in the new space. So we've been paying all of that this entire time just to get moved. So it's really key to find a space that's almost ready to go, because it'll save you a massive amount of time and money, because ultimately contractors aren't cheap. That's for sure. I mean, we probably have $50,000 to $60,000 into this new space between the drop ceiling, the plumbing that needed to be done, the electrical that needed to be done. It's not cheap. But if I'm going to be there for the next 10 or 15 years, I want to make sure it's move-in ready and I can fully expand into that place over time. Did I have to go to that level right initially? No. But I would rather have it be ready and not have to deal with it and worry about it later. That way it's just ready to go for forever. We could be in there for the next 30 years and fill that place out. And it's got everything it needs already, which is beautiful. So it's a process for sure. But obviously, Kathy, if you got follow-up questions, post them either in the comments or, reach out to me directly or reach out to us through school. We can certainly dive into that a little bit more, but it's a process. It definitely is.
Hopefully you don't need hopefully you don't outgrow that place as quick as you did this one.
Yeah. I have a feeling if we fill that space, I don't know that I'm going to care. That will be making insane amounts of money. So I don't know that I'm going to worry about it too much. All right, so let's bring up Audrey's question here. So, do you guys grow and sell microgreens full time? I work as a farmer 30 hours a week that I can't step away from, and I'm trying to figure out if I should contract out micros or move into my own space and hire more people. What would you recommend? So I think me and Robert are definitely full time. I think Josh is working on it. And the downside to farming out your entire farm is that you're not going to be there to make sure everything's getting done right.
Yeah. Don't reduce the importance of you in the business as well. I'm constantly thinking, man, I need to be out there. People are, I'm the one that sales. I'm the one that's the back and forth communication chefs and restaurants. So one day I'm just out of the business, and it's just like employees. I got a thought in my head that where's Robert? Where's he at? But I mean, it could be different.
Yeah, and I'm not full time, me personally, but my wife is full time. We have another full time employee and a part time employee. But my career that I'm in now, I mean, it pays really well, and I'm actually I'm getting to the point to where I'll be transitioning, hopefully, come January, if not January, very soon after. So I'm definitely excited about that. But I think that for you, I mean, 30 hours a week, I promise you, Robert's probably running double that.
For sure.
So there's room there. 30 hours a week, that's a part-time job. So I don't know if that's in addition to what you're starting up, but I don't think you would have to hire anyone out just for 30 hours a week.
Yeah, I would add on to that. You got to have the numbers. What are the numbers do? You can see how much you're making and what you make off those 30 hours. And, you write it down on paper.
Yeah, because and the challenge is, like I said earlier, once you take yourself out of the business, it's tough because you've got to find somebody that's going to care as much or close to as much about you, that you do about the business, about the quality, about the microgreens, because it takes, literally months to train a person to even water. That's one of the hardest things to learn. I only have me and one other person in my entire business are allowed to water the plants every single day because it's such a a critical thing. You screw that up one time and you kill half the plants. And when you're at the size that Robert and I are, that could mean thousands and thousands of dollars that you just threw down the drain. So
Reputation.
that's the hard part.
And
your reputation.
Because
Yep.
if you bring someone their $6 order on a family, they're a lot more lenient. They'll get them from someone else, 100%. So
yeah,
you want to make sure that you're putting in enough time to be there and make sure that you're making a good.
Yeah, I mean, because for me it was I guess about a year and 6 or 7 months that I was working full time, 40 hours a week, and doing the farm. And we grew to the point where we had to move out, so it was 7 full racks that I was harvesting every week by myself. And then that was it. So I finally realized, okay, I need to get out of here. And then talked to my daughter and said, hey, let's build this empire together. And she was all in. So she's been my full time employee since the beginning, since we moved out. And hired a bunch of people since then. But it's key to have good quality people, and it's hard to find. It sounds easy, but it's really tough to get good, solid employees. So yeah, I would definitely be wary about that. Try and stay invested in as much as you can if you can.
Yeah, and that's the kind of to end this discussion there. Like, you have to, like Robert said, make sure your numbers are right. Okay, but not just financials. How you need to look at time management, where you're spending most of your time at, right? And then I would like you to calculate up a wage that you want to pay someone, and then look at that from your financials, and can you afford that, right? Can you afford that without pain? I think that's even more, is to make sure that you can afford to incur the cost of an employee as well.
Yep.
It's always cost. Everything's going to cost more than you think. Everything.
Yeah, for real.
That's what I've learned. Like, everything is going to cost more than you think is. So, on, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, my employees alone are about $3,500 to $4,000 a month, just by themselves. So that adds up real quick. That's a lot of $5 packs or $6 packs you got to sell to make that up. So keep that in mind. It can get real expensive.
You get up, property, like Josh said, $2,000 for his warehouse. I mean, between electric and rent for my commercial building, we're paying $500. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yep. What's electrical in your spot, Andy, right now?
My current space is about $1,000 a month. I'm guessing the new space is probably going to be close to $2,000 a month.
Hey, sounds good to me and bad to Josh.
Yeah. Your AC is running 24/7 down in Florida.
Well, we got 30-foot ceilings, don't help. And I looked into the ceiling tiles. Whew, almost better than buying 3 or 4 more air conditioners. Those are expensive.
Yeah.
Not a thought.
Yeah, our ceiling tiles in our new space were about $9,000 to do 4,000 square feet, which is insane. But they're PVC, so they're never going to fall apart. They're fire rated. That's the one nice thing. But it wasn't cheap. Definitely not cheap.
Yeah, but it can temp. It's definitely got to. Yeah.
Yeah, it was worth. I mean, it'll pay for itself over time. It's just going to take a bit, unfortunately. All right. So Kathy was asking for some tools with marketing and on social media. So we can definitely put together something like that in the school group for you, Kathy. That'd be an easy one. Josh, I think Josh might know a little bit about social media. I don't know. I've never heard of this guy until I met him here. He's got several 100,000 followers everywhere.
Yeah, that's something we're going to be coming out with. Definitely as a kind of like a social media crash course. But you got to understand too, when I first started with social media, my intent was nothing, honestly, about microgreens. My very first video was just a random side hustle I did, which was going to Goodwill and flip stuff from Goodwill. You got to understand, this is 2020, so everyone's looking to make an extra dollar. So I did that, and I just happened to be harvesting that morning. So I went through the shed and was like, biggest side hustle 2020. Microgreens, and that's really what 2021. That's really what took off. But I've definitely learned some tricks to help you stand out. So I'll definitely be sharing that in the Urban Ag Academy there, a little crash course I'll be putting together.
Yep. All right. So, Austin, would you guys speak to the mindset of getting started and keeping things moving? Josh said today or yesterday, business like speed. Can you all expand on that?
Yeah, so mindset, man, you just got to do it, dude. Honestly, man, like I get hung up. I just said, I had a reset for the weekend. Um, Realistically, I could reset for 2 weeks, but things need to be done. So if you start experiencing burnout, all right, take a step back, do just bare minimum that you need to accomplish. Um, reset yourself, and then you have to hit hard. There's not. I can't just give you a cheat code to mind hack, right? Uh, it's something that you just have to get in repetition with. You got to understand this is what needs to be done. The faster, the better. Speed is definitely critical in business and a success of business.
Yeah, especially if you're the first one in the area, because you have that full blown opportunity. You're literally starting the industry in your area, and you can establish yourself as the microgreens guy in your location, which is huge. But at the same time, like Robert's got a gigantic microgreen farm not too far from him. We've got the biggest indoor farm in the whole world, probably 45 minutes from our place. And, but when you're that small time microgreens guy getting out there and really hitting it going, and I always say there's no time like the present, and that basically kind of goes off of what Josh said. It's like stuff's got to get done, and no one else is going to do it but you, unless you're paying somebody to do it. So, it's part of being business owners that you just got to be proactive and be like just determined. But like Josh said too, you also got to step back every once in a while and take that break and just let yourself kind of catch up. But having tools in place to help you, as you figure out your weekly routine and figure out your calendar and your schedule every single week and what you're doing, it makes things a whole lot easier. And honestly, like we wrote what we never called it Farm Flow. It was just our thing we used internally that I wrote years and years ago. We wrote it before we actually even started. So I had that software in place, a way more basic version of it, what it is now, but that was in place to keep me sane. So that way I knew what did I need to do every day, what stuff needed to be planted every day, what needed to be harvested every day, especially when you first start. It can be a lot to take on because you're just like, I just want to plant, I want to plant, I want to plant, but you're not thinking, why am I planting?
Yeah.
What date am I trying to target? What am I trying to learn from this? A lot of people just go, let me buy a rack and some lights and throw some trays on there with no end game plan. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of crops that are ready to sell and you have nowhere to sell them to. You don't have a farmer's market to take them to. You don't have chefs lined up to take samples to. A lot of stuff should be geared around how long does your stuff take to grow and what can I do with it when it's done? Like we plant, let's see, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday every single week to target 2 harvest dates. And our one harvest date is all of our commercial clients, and the other harvest date is all of our residential clients, and that's it. And everything is planted to target those 2 harvest dates. So the amount of time stuff takes to grow, that's why we have to plant so many times, per week, because we've got things that take 7 days, 8 days, 10 days, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days, 35 days. It just depends on what we're planning, but it's all targeted on that one specific date to make sure an order gets filled every single week. So that's definitely a big key thing, is just getting that mindset in place to think ahead. Like you're playing chess. You always want to be 2-3 steps ahead to make sure you're going to be where you need to be when the time comes. And really that goes into commercial space too, thinking ahead to get yourself ready. If you get to the point where you're literally maxed out and you're like, oh my God, I got to find a space, you're going to rush and get some place that isn't going to work for you. But if you think far enough ahead, start looking, knowing, okay, in probably 6 months to a year, I'm going to need a bigger space. Start that process ahead of time, because it takes months and months and months to find what you're looking for. So just really thinking that couple steps ahead.
Give yourself, you think you're giving yourself time to make smart moves fast. Because if you're you're waiting until the last second, then you're going to make a move and who knows what's going to happen. But if you've already been thinking about it, building, and now it's like, okay, I know exactly what I want. You get what you want. You get what you know you want. That's what it is. You have to know what you want in order to not, who knows what you get. And then also too about the speed and getting started and keeping things moving. It's also I like to think of the fleeting intention. Your intentions are never strong. Tell yourself this is what I want to do, and the longer you wait, the less chance you have of doing it. The less it's in your head. You got an intention, you do it. Because then
100%.
you got you'll never be stronger in you to say I want to get this done than when you tell yourself get it. done, you know?
And Austin, you know, I mentioned in the post in the school group about you know, reading books. So one of the books I'm going to recommend here is 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Now, some people love them, some people hate them. The 10X Rule is an extremely good book. There's audio books, you know, there's like audio chapters. I think it's on Spotify. You can listen to it. If you want to get into that sell mindset, that sales mindset, that's a good one. And he's got another one, Sell or Be Sold. That's also a good one. Those two, listening to that, I've done some of the biggest deals I've ever done. So that's definitely two that's really motivating. And if you need kind of, you know, I guess, preparation to get into that mindset, that's something that will warm you up. Just understanding someone else's mindset and the success that they've built. So that's what I would suggest, you know, and it's nothing there's a secret hack to it. You just have to get into that routine to where it's no longer, it's just, you don't think about it. It's second nature to you.
Yep. And I would end that with just saying, like, getting started is the biggest challenge, you know, because what you're going to do is you're just going to sit there and think, well, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And the more doubt that works its way into your head, the further you're going to be from getting started. You know, your best bet is just to jump in and try, because you're never going to learn otherwise, literally. You know, the only way you can really, truly learn, you can spend all the time you want on YouTube. You can spend all the time you want listening to us telling you how to grow something until you flip and do it yourself.
Yeah.
It isn't going to make any difference, because that's when you're going to learn the most. You know, we can tell you, hey, start with this number of seed, this number of that, grow it for this number of days. That's a starting point. You've got to figure out for yourself, you know, what my environment can handle seed wise, what my environment can handle as far as my number of trays and how much dehumidifiers I need and whatever. You know, that's all part of the learning process. It's experimentation every single day. And we learn something new literally every day. We've been doing this for 4 years. We've grown every crop 5,000 times, but there's always something we're learning, because we're always trying to do something a little bit different, make ourselves a little bit faster, make ourselves a little more efficient. You know, that's just stuff you're going to pick up over time. And that's the only way you can do it is experience. You know, it's no different than going and applying for a job. You know, if I try and go be a welder and I have zero experience, you know, then they're not going to hire me as a welder. But if I already have a little bit of welding, or they bring me on and say, hey, you can learn as you work here, I'm going to be a great welder in 6 months. You know, even though I've never touched a welding rod my entire life. So, you know, that's the kind of thing. It's just, you got to get in there and do it, man. Just get in there and do it. And I know you're already doing it, Austin.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he's had some success. Like, I want to say like first 2 weeks in.
Yeah. Yep.
So big props to him, man.
Austin's killing
it. He's probably the guy that I chat with the most on Facebook, hands down. He wouldn't disagree. All right, so Kathy said, that is our goal, to build a separate building on the farm. Space is key. You find grants to help with the financial investment. Ideally, yes. They don't come across super often that fit our world. That's the one challenging part. You can use grants.gov. So the website, literally grants.gov. That'll get you access to a ton of grants, but it's literally a ton of grants, and it's very hard to find like that specific one for your location or whatever. But get in touch with the Maryland Department of Ag people. In your case, in Maryland. If you're out of state of Maryland, obviously get in touch with your own state's Department of Ag, and also your like economic business development, small business development community, things like that. There's all kinds of stuff out there. That you can talk to, and they can at least get you on their email list for grant opportunities in your area. That's what I would suggest. Do you guys have any different experience with that?
Biggest thing, if you're going to try to get grants from the USDA, you have to be a registered farm.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Yep. Say, man, like you said, grants.gov. I've been on that website about 30 times, and every single time it's just overwhelming the amount of stuff that's on there. Seems like none of it fits us, and it's like I got other things that I be doing right now. Like, it's tough. You got to find, like you said, it's a balance. If I had employees, I could sit there and maybe find something that would be a big break for the farm. It's it's all part of it. It's all part of the journey. Got to figure it out. But grants, would be very helpful.
And I'm just hitting this, got this idea. It's like, I think for the group, it would be a good idea for us to look for a agency that specializes in grant procurement, right? Because there's agencies out there that'll search grants tailored for us. So I think that may be something we might want to look into adding into the school community for our
Definitely.
members
Yeah,
here.
that'd be awesome.
But for me, I'm completely self-funded, no grants here. But if I do come across a grant that fits the MO, I'm definitely going to take advantage of free money.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've won a couple grants, and we were self-funded for the most part, but we did win probably about $12,500 in over 3 grants. There were $5,000 each time, but in this case, it sounds great, but you have to literally spend the money, then apply for the grant, and hope to God you win it. And then if you do, you have to submit all your receipts to show that you spent the money, and then they just reimburse you. So that's not an ideal scenario because you're out the money regardless. But there are plenty of them out there where they'll give you the money, but then oftentimes you've still got to prove that you spent it in the way that they wanted you to.
I got
that
grant. I got that one, and I used it twice. I got the Quest 155 dehumidifier, and that, like you said, pay for it, then submit your receipts, and then they got it. And this last time that we did it, I bought the stuff and I submitted it, and they were like, "Sorry, you're not getting it." I'm like, dang, sorry. Got it twice. I was 100% sure we were going to get it, and they were like, "Nope." Damn.
Yeah.
Out
It sucks.
At least it was stuff I needed.
Yeah. I mean, we spent $12,000 at one point on a new client that we had to buy a ton of trays, a ton of racks, a ton of everything. And it was a $5,000 grant. We applied for it, and they're like, "Do you have 5,000 in receipts?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I can make that happen." So you never know, man. But yeah, they're definitely out there. They're difficult to find. But Kathy, if you haven't set yourself up as a female-owned business, which I think you have, if I'm not mistaken, then that's definitely a nice plus. You'll find more grant opportunities for minorities and female-owned businesses and things like that. Because my wife and I are 50-50 owners. I wish we never would have done that. We got to change it at some point to where my wife owns more than me, so that we can be a female-owned business.
I'm a helper.
Just more access to different things.
I'm just a helper.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Mark Barton asks, how many lights per shelf?
So it depends on what lights you're running. I use T5 20-watt lights for my microgreens. Microgreens and flowers, they're 2 different spectrums. So my microgreens are full spectrum white light, 20-watt. I use 2 T5 LED tubes, 4-foot lights, spaced apart equally, going down the centers of the racks there. I think I've seen some forums where some people use like the Bariona T8s and they only use 1 light. Can y'all elaborate on that?
I've seen it,
Yeah.
but I've never used the 1 light. I've done 320 watts, and I was there for a long time, 320 watts. But then I spaced my shelves closer together, and I dropped it to 220 watts. I wasn't seeing much difference, so that allowed me to expand pretty good because I was up to about 30 racks with 3 lights on each. So I was like, oh, do this test, and then it was like, bam, okay, now I got 5 racks worth of lights that I don't have to buy, and I can pick another one. So that was clutch. I needed that.
Yeah.
But yep.
Yeah, we were in the same boat. We had 3 T5s for a while with our shelves spaced about 9 inches apart. So the top of this shelf versus the bottom of that shelf would be 9 inches in between the two. So we were running 3 T5s for a bit, and then we did the same thing. We ran some experiments, found out that 2 T5s were plenty. So we ripped out the extra light and rewired every single rack, which took forever. But now, I've got probably 200 extra lights sitting around. So, I mean, I can easily expand into many, many more racks with a bunch of extra lights, which is really nice. But yeah, if you're running 1 T8, the downside is you have to space your shelves probably 10 to 12 inches apart. So it definitely, you lose space. If your space is a premium, the smaller you can make your racks shrink together, then the more racks you can, the more shelving you're going to have, the more stuff you can grow. So we get 24 trays per rack. And we still have room for storage underneath. So we get bins underneath of every single rack we have to store seed, to store whatever. I mean, we have soil in bins, things like that. So, it's really nice to have that, but you could really go a whole another shelf if you wanted to and get 28 trays per shelf if you don't mind bending all the way down and watering every single day. So it's certainly a possibility with the T5s. You would not be able to do that with T8s. So I would definitely recommend T5s over T8s if you can. But I know plenty of people that have grown with one T8. I think Mike Hicks from Itty Bitty Micro Farm grows with all T8s. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just you're giving up room basically, and in this business, space is 100% a premium.
And they're more wattage. They get
Yeah.
hot, they get hotter. That was my reason for moving from Sunblasters, because I started with the T5 Sunblaster fluorescent lights, and I had about 7 racks of those. But man, 7 of those in 100 square feet, the heat was just ridiculous. My son was up in the room upstairs burning up. His room was 83 degrees. The rest of the house was lower than that, but they get hot. You got to adjust for your space, and like you said, I would think T5, the 20 watts, those are the best ones. But just to touch on, like Josh said, for the flowers, I don't use those ones for the flowers. I do use the T8 full spectrum lights for the flowers. That's for the flowers I do there. I'm actually trying to, at the moment, move the flowers outside and see if we can't do something like that. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I got my stuff downstairs. I got a whole bunch of flowers now that I've got packed in downstairs. So I got about 150, 200 pots started outside. So we're going to see how that goes.
I bet you raised eyebrows. Your neighbors is probably like, what the hell is he doing?
Bringing bags of Pro Mix back here.
Yeah, and it's new neighbors too.
That's true.
The hair don't help either.
Yeah. All right, so Audrey had another question. So what's the earliest you harvest before delivery?
So I harvest the day before. Maybe, yeah, I'd say probably 24 hours is the earliest. I harvest the day before, package, and we store in the fridge. And then that harvesting takes us probably 3-4 hours. So the next morning when we come in, everything's prepped. We just grab and go. I wouldn't advise really, if you're trying to deliver fresh grains, kind of defeating the purpose. If you harvest a week early, right? They're not fresh to me at that point. But the closer you can get to harvesting to your delivery day, I think the better. Not just in terms of freshness, but quality. That's you're going to see the best quality the fresher they are.
Yeah, we're definitely 24 hours or less. We harvest on Wednesdays to deliver on Thursdays. We harvest on Fridays to deliver on Saturdays. 2 days, I would say, would probably be your max. And really, there's no reason why you should have to go 2 days or more out anyway. That's just, you got to get your planning together to figure that out. I mean, we're harvesting 500-600 trays a week, and we still manage to get everything within 24 hours. It's really important to have fresh product, 100%. So that's definitely a big key thing.
That's the selling point.
Yeah.
These big companies beat us on price, but they cannot beat us on 100%. As soon as your quality goes down, then you lose your advantage. I mean, 24 hours. Sometimes some of the stuff, like some of our basils and things, don't last long. We cut, so leave that for more. Cut Monday to Thursday, cut Thursday, and the only reason we do 2 days, we just don't believe, even though all that month, still are just like, no, we want 2 days. I'm gonna.
Is he cutting out?
Yeah, you're cutting out real bad, Robert. You have been lately, but now it's real bad. I don't know if your internet's bad or what, where you're sitting. All right, so Audrey had another question. How are you guys planning to retire working full-time as a grower? Do you plan to eventually sell the business?
Ooh, asking the hard question. Oh, man. Andy, you go ahead and lead this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we don't really focus on because we're not even close to being to that point yet. But I mean, for us, it's not really, we don't plan on selling the business. We plan on keeping this as a family thing. So, it's the reason why my daughter works for me full time. So that way, she can eventually take over the business. So I'm going to be spending the next couple of years, teaching her how to sell, taking her to meetings, talking with chefs, things like that, to really get her up to speed on that whole thing. So that's our plan long term. As far as retirement goes, I mean, my wife and I are not greedy people at all. We don't need much, just enough to get us by. So, are we at the rate we're going on this? It's going to be a bit before we really turn a profit on it, just because we've invested so much into it, and we also, like I said, I'm doing it the wrong way, by hiring a bunch of people and putting a lot of expenses in front of us to get it to where it is. But it's the route we chose, and it's only because we could pull it off initially. So that's kind of where we're at this point. But I don't really think about retirement too much. I should, but it's really more just like, we just want to be able to do what we want to do and enjoy it, because every day that I'm doing this, I don't feel like I'm working. I really enjoy what I do. I love helping people. I love helping people get healthy, and people overcoming diseases and overcoming things. And it's the coolest part about it, but you really got to love it to really do it to the level that we are. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm pretty similar there. My long-term goal for the business, for Greener Harvest, is to scale it up to where we can take steps back, and still take owner draws, or collect a check or paycheck, stay on payroll. But that just takes time. So, I mean, I'm 33, so retirement isn't even in my vocabulary yet. As far as selling it, I've got an emotional attachment to it. So I think that anyone that builds their own business and can see the light at the end of the tunnel, as in hiring out and being able to source, labor, I don't think they would sell either. I mean, that's just my opinion there.
Yeah, and that's kind of our thought too. Is like, and that's kind of also why we did Farm Flow, why we're doing Urban AI Academy and things like that, to help us make extra money that we can basically slowly work towards giving the business to our daughter and letting her do that full time. So that's kind of like just income for me as an owner, if you will. So I'm trying to kind of set myself up for that going forward in the future. So that's kind of like a big piece of it, and I would love to see her take over just the microgreen side of it alone, because she can't write software. She would never in a million years be behind a camera doing this kind of stuff. She's scared. She's very introverted. I'm extremely extroverted, so it's easy for me. But that was kind of the process for us. That's why we're just trying to get monthly stuff set up and go forward with all that. So that was really our thought process on it anyway.
Yeah, and honestly, kind of like you said, I love this. I don't think that retirement. I don't see me retiring, and it's not that we can't afford it, or we're not thinking about our future. It's just like, man, this is something I'm really passionate about, and I love this, and I don't consider it work. So I did a video that I caught a lot of strife on, and this was back when I was in my shed, and I called the business a passive business. To me, I mean, it's simple. You plant, you harvest, you sell, you repeat, and especially in a small scale, it's not too physically demanding. Being prior military and working on oil rigs, that's physically demanding. Growing microgreens is not physically demanding, so it's not like it's gonna, take a toll on your body 20 years in. I think the most we're probably lifting is 50-pound seed sacks and 15-pound weights. Outside of that, I just, retirement's nowhere near.
I'm with you guys.
And I can tell you, I can tell you my employees are actually in great shape because of what we do every single day. Like they've all lost weight, they've all gained muscle, because I mean we're moving around, stacks with 15-pound weights on top of them that are heavy, but they're really good at doing that, and they enjoy it, and they've seen the benefits from it. They're not going home sore. They're like in shape every single day because of it, which is cool. I mean, you're never in your life gonna meet a farmer especially a big time farmer that actually has outdoor farming, that's 500 pounds or 400 pounds or 300 pounds even. Those guys are busting their butts every single day, far worse than we have to do. So it's a whole lot easier for us to do what we do because we're indoors, we're climate control, we don't have to worry about heat, we don't have to worry about. I mean, imagine, Robert, if you had to work outside every single day. It'd be miserable.
They're washing those trays out there. They're definitely hot.
yeah, for real. So that's kind of the big thing with it.
To answer the question, we don't plan on selling. Same. I want it to be a family business. I got 2 kids. I've got a brother that's 18 years old. So I've got plans for this business well into the future. So I want to make it a true homestead and a true family farm. So that's what we're working towards.
That being said, if someone slaps a check for $20 million on my desk,
I was just gonna say,
you got to think about the family. You got to think about the family,
Yeah.
I mean, everything's for sale. But I would have to make sure that my daughter was real well taken care of if we ended up selling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a big key thing of it. But yeah, it's fun. That's the best part about having a family farm. All right, so Kathy said, we are a farm. Good to have more CEA grant funding. So I'm assuming that's based on what we were talking about earlier. And then Astrid said, veterans also have lots of funding. So if you're a vet of any kind, I know there's a couple of vets in our Urban Ag Academy group. So you guys could probably take advantage of more funding opportunities as far as that kind of stuff goes. And let's see, I got any more member questions?
I know Jeffrey joined late. He's not putting member next to his questions, but I know Jeffrey's a member.
Oh, yeah. Yep, very true. I'm just thinking I may actually be on the wrong mic here. I am. Holy cow, my mic is way over here. I can't believe you guys can hear me this entire time. I just saw somebody comment. They're like, where's your mic? And I'm like, wait a minute, where's my mic?
The clarity.
Yeah.
I never brought my microphone over. Sorry about all that, guys. Hopefully I wasn't super quiet.
I went and bought me a headset today, man. I was setting I found an app that I can use for my phone to actually turn my phone into a webcam for my computer. So, man, I really thought this thing was an hour out. I did not realize it was set. I could have swore it was 7 Central. Anyway, so that's my fault. But
hey, 2 versus 1 EST.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep. Hey, I'll give y'all that one.
Hey, we made it work, man. That's all that matters. All right, so let's see. Astrid's got another question here. So SOP gap specific. I wrote SOPs for work in accordance to FDA guidelines, was struggling with agricultural end of micros. Have you taken the gap training? If you haven't done that yet, I would recommend it. They go through a lot of that stuff. What you're going to end up with is basically a food safety plan, which is going to be, your full plan as far as how you run your entire farm. And then from there, it's really just going to be writing SOPs based on your individual procedures that you do. So what's important, sanitizing trays, planting, all these major things you want to make sure are documented really, really well. Think about it from a training standpoint. That's what it boils down to. If I had to teach, if Josh came to work for me and I wanted to make sure he knew how to do everything exactly the way I want it to be done, that's an SOP. Basically you're showing him something. This is how we do something. It's a procedure, with steps from start to finish, exactly how something happens. So think about it from that standpoint. Be as detailed as you could possibly imagine, because ultimately you can use those things to actually train people, which is nice. All right, let's see if we can find one of. Oh, there's Kim. I know she's a member too. So if you guys are members in Urban Ag Academy, make sure you put member in front of your questions. It's a whole lot easier finding. We got a lot of comments I'm trying to keep an eye on. So Kim asks, how do you enter the market when there is a local grower within 20 miles of you? So Robert would be a great one on that one because he's got a guy like right down the street.
Yeah, actually, there's about 4 companies in Tampa that service all the same restaurants, and we're the 4th, and then there's 3 that are bigger than we are. So, I mean, competition just means that you have a viable product. I mean, you're there. You focus on your product, and you will shine 100%. But competition, I mean, that just says, people are buying that product. There's customers to grab. Definitely.
Yeah. Show me an industry with no competition. I'll show you an industry with no life.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, how many places you go, you see a McDonald's and a Burger King right across the street from each other, or two gas stations right across the street from each other. They're both making it. But the difference is, I think, and I always preach this to people is, no one's going to outwork me. No one's going to out customer service me. And no one's going to out quality me, and that's really what it boils down to. Set yourself apart, because if we're all growing the same microgreens, we're all growing the same microgreens. But ultimately, you got to beat me on all those things. You got to beat me on freshness. You got to beat me on quality. You got to beat me on customer service. I have chefs that I go out of my way. They drive me out of my mind. I'm sure Robert has the exact same thing, where it's a new chef or somebody I'm trying to board, or it's an existing chef and they're kind of, iffy. And it's like, they'll say, hey, can I get half a pound of sunflower tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning? Absolutely. I will make sure they get that, because that's just that quality level, that customer
They're a
service
headache,
level.
but they don't know.
Yeah, they are.
But they don't know it.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah. They're my favorite customer. Best one.
I'm gonna chime in too. And when we first started, there was one other company that had products in grocery stores. Now there was at the time we started, I want to say 4 other competitors. 2 of them were extremely near. I lied. We were the 4th one. There were 3 other ones. The one that was out of Baton Rouge, which is about 40 miles to the east of us, they had products that were in our stores locally. So that was one hurdle that we had to overcome mentally, right? Just because you see someone else's product on a grocery store shelf or at a restaurant you're trying to service doesn't mean that your product can't get right by them. So as we expanded too, just to kind of show testament on the expansion of the industry in general, we've scaled from our shed to the warehouse, and also we've seen 4 more companies pop up. So that's a total of 8 competitors, all in the same vicinity, in the same space. And Lafayette, Louisiana isn't huge. Tampa's, I think, what's Tampa's population?
It's like the 12th or the 11th biggest metro in the U.S. So
yeah,
it's big.
I'm working with 120,000 people. And you divide that between 8 competitors. Of course, you're definitely going to want to focus on being consistent, having good quality, customer service. All the points that Robert and Andy hit on. That's kind of how you're going to not only market sales, right, but that's how you're going to establish yourself as a focal point in a community.
Yep, 100%. All right, so I'm digging through and catching some extra member questions here. So Mark asked, how many racks did you have when you went full time?
22.
Yeah, we had 7. But again, we took a risk, and it was because we didn't have room for 22 anywhere in our house. So we had no choice but to get something bigger in place because we had no other place to go. Our garage, was definitely not even close to being ready to be moved into for a farm. So we've had to spend probably 10 grand just to get that space up and running. So it was just easier to find a bigger space that we knew we could grow into over time. And the place that we're in now, we signed a 2-year lease, and in the first year and 2 months, we were ready to find new space already. I mean, it goes real quick if you let it. If you give me space, I'm going to fill it. That's what it boils down to. So 7 for us, but I wouldn't recommend that. Get bigger if you can. Well, the goal is to, max out the biggest room in your house, and then, stay as your single only employee for as long as you possibly can. That's how you're going to make your most money.
I waited as long as I could. I even had some racks back in the room I started in and in the garage, and then just started taking over the house. My wife wasn't loving it. She don't like dirt on the floor. At least in the house.
Yep. Yeah. You can go quick though. All right. So Audrey said, I run a different farm 30 to 40 hours a week on top of running a microgreen business that is growing really fast. Gotcha. Okay.
Good experience. I mean,
yeah,
that should help with your confidence. I think that, I mean, one of the biggest things that I see people in these groups is lack of confidence. And, confidence will take you a long way.
Yeah. So this was in continuation of the comment that was earlier. We talked about, they were working 30 hours. So they're building a business and working essentially, full time. So it's doable. You have to prioritize tasks. You have to have good systems, especially when it comes down to time management. So we work with small farms all over, and what we see is people that have normal day jobs, right? They'll do their watering in the morning, they get up early, knock their watering out, right? They're harvesting normally for a weekend market, so they're harvesting maybe Friday night when they get off work. So it's going to be critical for you, especially that you worry more about time management than anything. Um, of course, numbers aren't going to lie, right? So you got to focus on revenue, but you have to have processes in place that's going to allow you to make the most use of the time that you have for that farm, for your business that you're building. And when it comes down to it, like
100%.
if the numbers don't lie and you have to make that choice, make that choice. Take that bet on yourself. Um, you what I see too is like people that put themselves into, and me and Robert have spoke about this. When you put yourself into a sink or swim situation, there's no choice. You have to make it work. There's what's the other option? Folding up. So
Burn the boats.
burn the boats.
Yep.
Yeah, burn the boats.
Yep. It's and either you get it or you don't. But I mean, are you happy in your other job, or are you starting another business because you want out? I mean, for me, that's what it was. I definitely knew I wanted out. I did not want to keep working my job. It was a lot of traveling, and it was a risk. And people told me I was stupid for quitting my job because it was a great job. But I spend more time with my family now than ever. I don't travel anymore for work. Me and my wife spend all day, every day together. Saying we're about to start homeschooling our daughter next year, so I mean, everything that we've written down, it's all coming true. So just gotta decide what you actually want and get after it.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, if this means that you're gonna have to work this job another year and put in 60 hours, 70 hours, it is what it is, right? It's a grind.
Yeah.
This is a side business that you're trying to build. Do you want it or not? No, let's see it.
Then you'll be like us, because now I'm not worried about competition because I know nobody's doing what I do. I know it. We ain't waking up at 4:00 in the morning and going to bed at midnight for a year straight. I just don't see anybody else doing it. So, I mean, you gotta put the work in, and then you're confident to know I got this. I got it.
Yep. Scheduling is key, especially when you're trying to do 2 full-time things.
Start early.
Yeah. So she said, thank you for answering. I'll message more in school and give more detail to my question. Appreciate you guys. So if, we've shown this earlier in the beginning, but if you haven't gone on school yet, Robert and I and Josh, we run this. It's an awesome place to be. The community is fantastic. We post a lot of really cool stuff. We have a classroom for all 3 of us. So Josh has got his course that he's had for years. I've got a bunch of stuff that I put in there, including some chef interviews. Robert's working on our edible flowers process. He's already got a grow guide out there. We go into heavy detail on responses. There's a lot of very positive people, like-minded people, like Josh said earlier, that are all trying to push themselves to really make this happen. And we've seen huge leaps in people that are already in that group. Austin's definitely a standout. The man's been growing crazy fast. And there's definitely others in there as well. So, get in there if you have to. The URL's on the bottom of the screen there. You can just go to school.com and search for Urban Ag Academy as well. Easiest way to get it. And you'll find us on there. So that's definitely the best way to put yourself in a good position to be successful. It's talking to people who are already there, who have already done there, been there, done that on almost everything you could possibly imagine. All the mistakes that we made getting to where we are and all the successes that we've had getting to where we are. The beauty of it is you can use our mistakes to your benefit. You can use our success to help you be more successful. So definitely join in there if you haven't already. And let's see. So just going through trying to find more stuff here. So Astrid said, I thought I was doing bad at $500 a month. I'm guessing that must be rent. Yeah, that's cheap. You can find a place for $500. Yeah, that'd be a fantastic rent to have.
I would think the other side of Florida would be more expensive. She's on the other side. That's the expensive side over there. I guess it's all expensive.
Yeah. All depends on the size of the place.
She's talking about electrical.
Yeah. I know Kim's a member, so she said, how do you take vacation and walk away for a week?
That's a question for these guys.
Yeah. So,
I wouldn't know nothing about that.
Mandy and I, we took vacation in New Year's, and of course, we were just relied on our employees at that time. So at that point, our employees were good enough to, water, harvest, and even deliver for that delivery while we were gone, because we deliver every week. So if you're not built to that point to where you have employees, definitely find a trusted friend that that you trust to actually come and water at least, or just be open with your restaurant, your chef, your customer, your market managers, your produce managers. Say, hey, look, we're taking hiatus for a week. You know that it's going to take you 7 to 10 days to start back up. So try to land it to where they got fresh product, as maybe the day before you go on vacation, and then as soon as you get back in, you just got to start up. But look, we're all human. Everyone knows that everybody needs some time off. So it is what it is, and that's kind of why you need to focus on relationships, right? Focus on that commitment, that customer experience. That way you don't lose these customers when it is time to take a vacation, or forbid that you lose rotation of crop.
Yeah. And it's, you've got a couple options. I mean, one, if you enjoy vacation and you have to get away, your best bet is to try to avoid getting on a weekly schedule with anybody. Do seasonal stuff, seasonal deliveries, like, hey, we're going to do a spring CSA, we're going to do a fall CSA, we're going to do a winter CSA. And that way you can actually take time off, because short of that, you got to get enough employees or people that you trust 100% to run your farm while you're gone. I mean, there to a certain extent, you can automate some things like watering and lights and all that jazz, but nothing's going to automate harvesting for you. If you're not there, it's not going to get harvested. If nobody else is there, it's not going to get harvested. It's not going to get planted. Like Josh said, I mean, that's a key important thing. It's not like you can just turn the farm off for a week. You're going to turn it off for a week, and then, the amount of time it takes you to grow back again. So
Got to
it's
make
going to be at least 2 weeks.
Got to make sure the employees are good, because run your business and ruin your business are they're real close together. That's only one letter.
Yep.
You got to get some good employees in there for sure.
Well, and I mean, I'll give you an example. So we went on vacation last year for the first time, probably in 4 years. And it was, just because we were building the farm and getting everything up to speed, and we got our employees well. We felt really good about where they were. So we went on a family vacation, which means that I was there, my daughter was there, my wife was there. So I was totally relying on external, unrelated family members, to manage the farm. And, so one person, yeah, we had a great time. But when I came back, all of our amaranth was dead.
I remember that.
We literally plant probably 4 full racks of amaranth every single week. It's one of our biggest crops that we sell. So it was a huge problem. But because we're so prepared, and because we think ahead, and because we have backup plan upon backup plan, and we didn't miss a single order that week, which is insane to think. Was some of the amaranth from the previous week? Yeah, maybe, but we still made it work.
Quality.
So we just made adjustments. Yeah, because it's in a mix, thankfully. So we just put less amaranth in the mix and more of the other 2 things, because we usually had extra of that anyway. So, it was just a thing where we we had no choice, because you're sending thousands of dollars of product out the door every single week. So we had to make sure we had enough to do it. So it's tough. It can be very hard to get a vacation, and you're not going to get one for probably the first 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5 years. And you got to be ready for that.
You still
but that's with any business.
Yes. Yeah. We still haven't been able to take a vacation together since we started this. I mean, we had one night away at our son's wrestling tournament in Orlando, but other than that, you especially when you get to a higher level, you got to have help. Have to.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yep.
We're due.
And quality help.
We're due.
Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah. You guys are definitely due.
Yeah.
Yep. Shonda said earlier that the burnout is definitely real, and that is 100%.
100%. And like I said, I just went through a little burnout myself. So take the weekend off, reset, bare freaking minimum. So you might, if y'all been following socials, you've seen that I didn't post for like a week straight. I'm just like, dude, burnout is real, 100%. Take a break, do bare minimum to get back after it.
And it's normal.
Yes.
It's normal, because I burned out in every job I've had. But it's about the reset. It's not about the burnout. It's about the reset. Can you reset?
Yeah.
Can you get back up and keep going?
And the beauty of it is, if you're passionate about what you do, it takes way longer to burn out. I mean, because if it's something you enjoy, it's like you don't see it as burnout quite as much. I mean, poor Robert, like you said, from midnight or 12 to 4, going to bed at midnight, getting up at 4 a.m. for an entire year. That's 4 hours of sleep a day.
Yep.
But he loves what
Working
he's
both
doing.
jobs. Yeah, that was when I was working both
Yeah.
jobs. So
Yeah. Still
but
insane, man. But you gotta be able to power through it. And Audrey's got a great comment. Said, "Do it and fail. That's the best lesson. That's the truth. That is the truth. Fail as in mess up. It's the best way I've learned as well. Yeah, me too, man.
I tell the
For
kids,
real.
for sure.
Yep.
Mess up as much as you can.
And Jeffrey made it. I was at 8:17, so he's been in for a little bit. Appreciate you being here, man. I'm gonna try and dig through and find your comments too. Let's see. There's Brittany. I know she's a member as well. Can you share which grant you received? So for us, it was a Maryland-based grant called the Upper Shore something. But you have to be either in the county we're in or the county below us to actually apply for it. So it wouldn't really apply to what you're looking to do.
Ours was Florida-wide. I mean, even though we just got denied for it, like I want to say 3 weeks to a month ago. I mean, I could send her the information for it in the school group. I'll message you, Brittany.
Yeah. And then Jeffrey said, "Are flowers a big seller? I know you two grow them. I haven't yet. That's on my list."
They're huge. I cannot meet demand. I have everyone that I have. Obviously they take a little bit longer to grow. But all the flowers I have since the day I started growing them I've never not sold out every single harvest. So it's a good little add-on too. A lot of color. It sets you apart because the only one of those 4 other businesses actually sell edible flowers. So it sets something to set us apart.
Yeah. So we're not to the point to where we're selling them. So we're still we're still presenting chefs the flowers. The biggest thing for us and anyone that's wanting to get into flowers is making sure that once you make this commitment with chefs, that you have them in rotation. You don't want to sell something you don't have. It's plain and simple, right? So upsides about flowers, though, they can last if you store them correctly. They can last a pretty long time.
Yep.
So I haven't sold none, but everything that I'm seeing and all the feelers that I've put out there, the chefs are ready to jump on them. So it's just up to us to make sure that we got good rotation coming in. That way we can provide. I don't want to just sell 20, 30 flowers. I want to sell 200, 300, 400 flowers in this week. So you got to make sure that your systems in place can handle that.
And make sure you get somebody good if you're going to start selling them. Somebody that's going to send you some pictures, somebody that's going to work with you. Because like you said, in the beginning, we didn't have a huge stock. So I just said, hey, this guy's been asking me for flowers for a long time. I got them. I'm going to supply you with them as I have them. I'll even maybe hit you with 1 or 2 for free. You send me some messages, you give me feedback, and we work together on it. And now I really don't sell them individually. They're pretty much all added on to customers. I have one customer that gets 5 to 6 $20 packs a week of flowers added on to their order is already like $250, $300 a week for microgreens. So it's a nice add-on. Selling thousands of dollars a month of flowers and didn't gain any new customers. So that was big for us for sure.
Yeah, and I've seen several microgreen growers and some of the groups that I run that literally added flowers to their menu, and now that's their primary seller. Like, it actually took over their microgreen business. And we're in the same boat, Robert. We get asked by chefs all the time. That's why I was like, I'm dying to get into this new space and start growing flowers.
Heck yeah.
Really have the room for it. It'd be beautiful.
Something that's pretty popped up crazy for me when we first started getting asked by him. It was actually the one of the chefs that handles the pastries, the dessert chef. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, bars is another big one. Yeah,
bakeries and bars. Yeah.
Don't think it's
they love using them drinks.
Yeah, don't think it's one particular type of establishment that's going to use the flowers. I mean, I never would have thought that pastry chefs would use edible flowers.
They love it.
Yeah, they do. And now that I've seen it now that I've been exposed to it, I see it everywhere.
Yeah. When Mark asked, how would I start a conversation with chefs? Mark, I know you're in the group. If you haven't watched the 2 interview videos that I posted, that's got a lot of really good information on how to do that. But for the most part, you're going to be cold calling. You can reach out to them on, some kind of messenger, preferably Instagram. They tend to be on there a lot more than anywhere else. Or you can just go into the restaurant, during the hours of like 2 to 4 p.m. when they're not, in between lunch and dinner, essentially, then you can hopefully talk to them. But yeah, definitely, I would highly recommend going and watching those 2 interviews. Robert, obviously, I know you're primarily restaurants. You got anything to add to that?
I would say, the easiest way to do it, where I convert the most of my sales, it's pretty much every time I have a setup meeting, they're interested, we're going to get it. So if you could set a meeting up, that's great. I like to tack my cold calls onto my delivery just so I'm not out there. I'm already out there, and not only am I already out there, I'm on my route. So all the restaurants I'm passing, I add them on. It's not adding much delivery. It's not adding much time at all. But yeah, I would say if you could preset the meeting, that's what you want to do. I even go into a lot of times at a lot of these restaurants, the chef is, he's a valued member of the team. They got his card out there with the GM. You just grab the card, shoot an email. They email. That's definitely email for sure. So
yeah,
be a good one. Yep. I do too. Like I don't know if that's the same Mark said he got a list of 175 restaurants in his.
It is. Yep.
Okay. Type that restaurant name into Google and type executive chef next to it, and bam, you know his name right there. That's
Facebook, Instagram. I mean, there's so many ways to contact these people. But how Robert said, he tries to line it up to where when he's already out, right? That doubles back to what we were talking about earlier, is time management. So that's really important. That's almost a pillar of any business in any industry, is resource management in general. Time is a resource. So just make sure that you're not having to double back during deliveries, during cold calls or sales meetings. Make sure you get it when you're already out and about, or try to line it up back to back to where you can make a day of it. Especially if you're in a small city, and you got to travel, 30, 40 minutes to go meet with one chef. You don't want to do that, right? So let's try to line up, even if they're spaced out 40 minutes to an hour apart. You definitely want to be able to line up these cold calls back to back to back when you're out in a stretch like that.
And try to string them together on the same route. That's just, you don't want to be going 20 minutes one way, 20 minutes the other way. If you could keep it all on the line, it makes the customers more profitable.
Yep, 100%. All right, so Jeffrey said, I'm going to start trays this weekend so I can go out to restaurants and give samples. I assume you have to plant according to the harvest days so you can harvest all at the same time. Yes, preferably. That's definitely always going to be your best bet. Like I said earlier, I don't know if you're on yet or not, Jeffrey, but we plant 5 days a week to hit 2 harvest dates. One is for commercial, one is for residential, and that's it. And it's only because, like, if we were to do both the same day, it would be a long day. So it's a whole lot easier having 2 separate days. That way, my team can have a slower day. Friday is definitely a smaller day. That's when we harvest our residential. We don't go too crazy with that, but commercial, we definitely have way more commercial clients. But yeah, ultimately you want to find out how many days it takes for you to grow all your stuff. Farm Flow is great for that. I think you're in there, if I'm not mistaken. So get yourself set up in there, figure out what your grow times are, get all that entered into Farm Flow. And then once you start putting orders into the system, it'll tell you exactly what days you need to plant, what days you need to harvest, what days you need to soak, what days you need to, move things to the light, all that good stuff. So it's a great way to easily manage everything you need to do inside of one system. But yeah, 100%. Definitely want to try and plant your stuff to target a harvest date for sure. All right. And then he was the one that pointed out that my microphone wasn't in front of me. So I appreciate that. Definitely made that mistake. Well, it's probably because I was the first one in here, and I was getting a little bit worried because Robert and Josh were not in here yet. It was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes before the thing started. So I thought I was going to be doing this by myself for a little while.
I knew I was going to be close. I was like,
Robert,
looking at the timing, I'm like, I got about 10 minutes to get from the cheerleading practice back home. I'm like, I got that. I'll be there.
Yep. So Josh thought it was an hour later, and Robert was having a heck of a time getting in. So I was like in full panic mode. That's probably why I forgot to bring my mic over.
Man, I apologize. Like
No,
I said,
you
I went
guys are
out,
good,
man.
man. We made it work.
I bought me a headset. I bought me all kind of stuff, and I was planning. I had to come home and watch the dog. I was planning to get back to the office and set up. Yeah, didn't happen that way. So here we are.
Yeah, all good, man. We made it work. So, and Austin said, Tracy is right. Farm Flow is the Grow Bible. I mean, that's what we use. That's the only reason we're able to keep, I can sleep at night because it's in there. That's for sure. All right, let's see. How do I put member on there? Yep. So Jeffrey just put member in front of your question if you're an Urban Ag Academy member. So definitely make sure you do that. And Brittany, can you share what grant you received? We did that one already. Let's see. Mark again. I built a list of 110 restaurants in town. How do I start talking to chefs? What do you say to start up a conversation? And we just went through that question. And let's see. Just trying to find other members. Check the questions above. Okay. There's Jen. Delivery vehicle, transit or minivan? We have a transit, and that comes in very handy. We can get eight marine-sized coolers inside of the back of that van, which holds a lot of product.
I'm still delivering in my F-150.
Oh man. Yeah, the transit's nice. I mean, we built out, and it worked out good because we actually built out a whole thing on the inside out of plywood and stuff. And it's great for farmers markets too, because I've got little slots that I can put tables in. I've got slots that I can put our tent in and all that kind of stuff. So when we're not using it for deliveries, I can actually use it as a farmers market vehicle as well. It's just a big, giant open cavity in the back. Ideally, I'd have a full-size transit, but those things are really expensive. Even to find one used, it's probably going to be $30,000, $40,000. So we bought an actual regular Transit Connect. That's what it's called. And I don't even think they even make them anymore. I think they stopped making them. So if you can find one used for a decent price, it's definitely worth it because it holds a lot of product. So what we do on Thursday when we do deliveries is we make 2 separate runs because it's not big enough to hold all the stuff that we need to deliver. So we make one like southern delivery and then we make one northern delivery. So we kind of split it up throughout the day. That's the only downside, but just because the thing's not big enough, unfortunately. So it'd be nice to have a full-size transit. So if you can find a full-size transit, you can afford it, go for it. 100%. That is your best option. And Mark says quality will always beat out the big box stores. That is the truth. And that's what we tell our chefs and our distributors too, is like, if they're buying something from the place out in California that shall never be named, it may last for 3 or 4 days. So that chef is paying the same price. And in 3 days, he may have used 40%, let's say 60% on a high end, in that 3 or 4 days of that entire pack. Whereas he can buy one of ours, it'll last him for 2 weeks, and he can use 100% of that pack, before it goes bad. So they're paying the same price and getting way more actual usable product. So use that as an argument when you're talking to your chefs, when you're talking to distributors. Yep.
That is definitely good. I try to drive that home every time when I see that company out in California. I like this. I almost crack a smile when I see them in the fridge. I'm like, oh yeah,
for real.
Oh yeah.
You got an easy sale then.
Yeah, not another local guy. I'm like, oh yeah, let's talk. let me give you some free stuff.
Yeah,
that's actually the number one thing is, whenever we're talking to chefs, I always make a point to ask them if they're using microgreens. Now, I do my research beforehand. So if I'm talking to a chef, yes, they use microgreens, or their dishes are presented to where they're using some type of garnish, right? Because if they're not using microgreens, but they're decorating their dishes, right? And it could be in various ways. It could be with chives. It could be with the way they spread sauce. They're not using microgreens for a reason. So I always make a point to ask them if they're using the microgreens, how do they feel about, the longevity of them? And 9 times out of 10, they always say, I really like using them, but they wilt fast. Okay, well, try these.
And I saw Shonda, that a couple people replied. Looks like Robert replied. It was 10X by Grant Cardone. A couple people put that into the chat. So I want to make sure you saw that.
And Sell or Be Sold. Sell or Be Sold is another great one.
Yeah, there's so many good books out there. It's insane. So Kim kind of asked a similar question. So you have a specific vehicle or fleet for deliveries. We use that Transit Connect. Robert uses his truck. What do you guys use, Josh? I think you jumped out for a second on that one.
Yeah, this is us, man. We have these go bags, pretty much kind of like the urban or the Uber Eats bags, and that's what we run with.
Same as us. We
Yeah.
the black ones.
Yeah.
And invoices right in the front. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good setup.
Yeah.
Nice.
It works great. So we drop an ice pack in there, and we hit all our deliveries like that, right out of our personal vehicle.
Yep. Same.
Yep. What you got to do sometimes. All right, so let's see. So Tazi, I'm sorry, Tazi. I apologize if I'm using your name. FarmFlow is something that you can actually find on our website. So if you go to freshsourcefarms.com/farmflow, that'll actually take you right to it. Or you can go to gofarmflow.com. Either one will work and take you there. If you're a member of Urban Ag Academy, you can actually get, there's a link in my classroom that allows you to get it for 60 days for free up front. Otherwise, you're going to get a 30-day free trial to play around with. There's no credit card taken up front, so you can start and stop. If you hate it, cool, no worries. But if you love it, then you can choose your billing plan. You still got that whole 30 days to play with it, so feel free. Yeah, it's definitely a great way to organize your stuff for sure. And Austin says he's got a Mitsubishi Outlander. Nothing wrong with that. That'll hold quite a few things, especially you can fold those seats down.
Hey, my son goes out in the Subaru Impreza. It's not that ain't the biggest. That ain't the biggest vehicle, But we fit half the delivery in there, no problem.
Yep. And actually, my delivery driver, when the van's not available, that's what she uses. Exactly the same thing as a Subaru. Yep. That holds a lot of stuff. It's a big back. Fold those back seats down, man. It's crazy. And Jeffrey's asking, anybody win? We haven't done the drawings yet. We're coming up on it, though. Probably about another 10 minutes or so. We'll do a couple more questions and then, get the drawings going to try and give away all the giveaways that we've got going on. So tonight we're giving away a whole bunch of different goodies, including where's my page? It definitely died on me. Anyway, it's a bunch of stuff. It's a one-on-one with me for an hour. Robert's got full rack of lights that he's giving away. Josh is giving away some seed packs. It's a Let's Grow kit, as he calls it. So it's got some seeds and some trays in there as well. There's some other things also, and I'm just waiting for that stupid page to reload. So in 6 months of FarmFlow, that's another option that's in there. So you actually have the option to choose that too. So the cool thing is we're going to pick the winners, and whoever actually wins the first round gets to pick what prize they want. So this isn't like a random thing where you're going to get a random prize. We're going to literally let you choose what you want. And then once you choose it, that prize is off the table for the next person. So that'll be the kind of the format that we're going to roll with tonight. You do not need to be present to win. So if you're not on here, you can still win as long as you're an Urban Ag Academy member. That's pretty much all we're opening the contest up to tonight is our actual members in Urban Ag Academy. So we had them actually do some stuff on, to enter the contest. So they all did that. And we've got a whole list of all those peeps. So
yeah. And real quick, while we're talking about, the giveaways and the perks, one of the perks too of being in a group is a permanent 10% discount on seed purchases through Greener Harvest. Through Greener Harvest seeds. So, I mean, that in itself is going to pay for the membership. Well, I mean, like for you, Robert, I mean, what do you spend on a month on seed?
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So you see like 10% on that does the group price numerous times. So definitely jump in there and start taking advantage of some of these perks, right? Not only the mentorships, but the programs from Andy, Greener Harvest Seeds, Robert's Grow Guides. I mean, this is all really good information that is in this group.
Yep, 100%. All right, Mark's got a question. How did you land your first subscription customers, and how long before the first one signed up?
So my first subscription customer come pretty fast. I'd say we grew the first initial batch, and we actually brought it to one of the high-end restaurants here. We nailed that one, and off the same batch, we did a Facebook ad, and we started gaining subscribers that way. So that's maybe 5 days, 4 days, if that,
Yeah, I mean, ours we started out just getting good at growing. We didn't really want to get into subscriptions until we know that we could grow well. So we started in May of 2020, so we were in the middle of COVID, And we just basically set up a table and a tent in our front yard. We did all live harvest, and the goal was just to get stuff sold and get that interest driving. So we did a lot of social media. I mean, I would video, go live or at least record a video every single time, every week to show what we had. I'd highlight everything, the fact that we were doing live harvest, where we could be located. I think we set up for 6 hours every Saturday, which sounds like a lot, but when you're the only man in the whole area doing a farmer's market and you're by yourself, you pretty much have to give people a lot of flexibility to come check you out. So we did the live harvest, which worked out great because a lot of people were videotaping it or taking pictures of it and posting it on their social media. So it was kind of free advertising to a certain extent. And then I would say probably maybe 2 months in, we really started launching our subscription program. So when people would come to the booth, at that point, we had regular customers every week, which was great. So then we started talking about subscriptions and deliveries, which is a big key thing for them because they're like, well, I don't even have to leave my house. You're gonna bring it right to me. That's awesome. And really, I think what launched us into, really gaining subscribers was coming up with, for us, it was like monthly themes. So we had, this would have been November of 2020 when we really started pushing on it. And we created what we called Nutritious November. And basically that was it. The goal was you sign up in November, you get your first order for free. And it was really just to really push people to think about, like, January 1st is rolling around. You're going to be going to the gym. You're going to want to lose weight. Let's get started now, in November. And we really pushed that out heavy on social media. We, invested into advertising dollars, and we shared it on our page. We shared it to other local Facebook groups, which was big. And I think that's honestly what really, really launched our, our subscription piece. And then we did Delivery December. So the entire month of December, if you signed up as a brand new member, you got delivery for free the whole month. And then I think we skipped January, and then we did February was what we called F word February. So it's kind of play on words a little bit, but I mean, we didn't literally use the F word, but we just called it F word because it was the 50th subscriber would get the entire month for free. You got free first order, free delivery for that whole month. And then we also gave away a $50 gift card, $50 Amazon gift card to whoever signed up in that month of February. So it was all these F words. Free was most of the words, but you had $50 and all that kind of stuff too. So it was little cheesy stuff like that. And we just promoted it really heavily on social media as best we could. And that's how we really built up our subscriptions for sure.
Marketing works.
Marketing works.
Yeah, I think our first subscription customers were converted from the market. So handing out samples at the market, having the sign up sheet, and converting those people that liked it into subscriptions. First restaurant was just what I did right there. Me and my wife went and ate, saw Michael Reed's on the plate, got the chef's card, shot an email, bam, we're in there. $1,000 a month, first restaurant customer. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice. So then Austin, been in the group weeks now. I just want to say each and every one of y'all are capable of making this happen for you and your family and your community. And that is the God's honest truth, but it's going to take you making that choice and making that jump and taking that, investing in yourself and trusting yourself, to make that jump. Cause that's all it takes is getting started.
Work hard.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I can't even tell you how many people I've talked to, and I talk to people, a lot of people every single day. And I mean, literally 3 people today were like, this is growing way faster than I thought it was going to. And I'm like, yeah, I tried to tell you, if you get into it, man, it can really take off very, very, very fast. So it's nuts. I mean, we grew, our farm went from 7 racks to 32 racks last year in 2023. That's it, in one single year. And really, it was only 9 months of the whole year because we didn't even really move until March of last year. So in 9 months, we grew 6 times in size, which is insane.
Business loves speed.
Yeah, business loves speed. That's it.
Yep. And once you get that momentum going, since we've been in this new building, we're up $1,000 a month per month in recurring revenue every month we've been in there. So just got to find your groove, get in it, and keep pushing. Yep. Just get moving.
That's it. Just get moving. Yep. Yeah. Austin's going to be on here one of these days because he's growing crazy fast.
Yeah.
And he's going to be giving advice out real soon. But he also has spent a lot of time investing, into asking questions in the Urban Ag Academy, also reaching out to me a lot. I don't know if he reaches out to you guys too, but I mean, we talk almost daily, almost hourly, on Facebook Messenger and through school and all that stuff. Very encouraging guy. His wife backs him too. His wife's very awesome. So it's definitely a cool couple thing to be able to do together. So
Oh, 100%.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a big thing, dude. Having a support system, you could do it if you're a single dad, if you're a single mom, you could definitely do it. But the people that have that support system, man, that's a beautiful thing to watch. And even like in Andy's instance, with him and his daughter, that's a beautiful thing to watch. Just that passion that you share between each other, it's awesome. That's really going to help the business thrive.
And I love seeing other people doing the same thing with even littler kids. I mean, my daughter's 24. She was 22 when this all started, but I love seeing the 7 and 8 year olds that are out there helping their parents, plant microgreens and stuff. It's the coolest thing to see, man. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So I'm looking for one random member question that we can answer before we get into the getaway or the giveaways here. Let's see. This thing is packed with members. Finding one that's not a member is tough, actually. Go all the way up to the top. The very first question, Johnny Ray. Hopefully Johnny's still on here. What would be a realistic amount of trays and racks per week one person could manage selling to chefs and restaurants? Robert, you can answer that question.
I mean, it just really depends on how efficient you are. I mean, setting up your system and getting it going. I mean, you can do anything. I mean, 15 racks, 20 racks. I mean, it all depends on how you set it up. I mean, it's definitely doable. You deliver twice a week. You, like Andy said, you don't stack it all into one day. You just got to find your flow, and that number will be revealed to you. There's no, and I'm not really in a position to say too much, just solely because I don't do the things by myself. My wife does 99% of the harvesting by herself, but I do 99% of the planting, and we work together, and it's a good flow. But so for yourself, you would have to spread that work out, and I mean, you can make good money by yourself. I don't see any reason you couldn't make 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 a month just on your own, and possibly more than that. I don't know how much time those 15 racks is way behind me. I can't really remember how much time you would have to put in for yourself for 15 racks, but it's doable. It's all doable.
Yeah, I think if I had to put a number on it, I'd probably say right around 200 trays is where you would be able to manage it and still have, majority of your day to take care of whatever you do, right? Because it's the hard part here, and what we're calling hard is, listen to this, planting, harvesting, right? That's the hard part. That's the monotonous stuff, and washing trays. Outside of that, you water, and on 200 trays, it probably takes, let's say, an hour, maybe, right? And if you got your watering right, you're watering once a day. If you're watering twice a day, so that's 2 hours. I think that would probably be maybe about a 50-hour week, 250 trays.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's probably going to be about your max, or you'd be able to do it by yourself. But it's also obviously going to be limited to your time and your space. I mean, if you've got nothing but time and you don't mind working, 18, 20 hours a day or something, if you have to, then, I mean, you can really go crazy with it. But ultimately, you want to have some free time to be able to do stuff. And ultimately, if you're spending 18, 20 hours a day doing nothing but farm work, you're never going to be able to sell. So you got to be able to make time to do all that stuff. It's a business. It's not just producing a product. You got to sell it. You got to get it out there. You got to market. You got to do all that stuff. So you wear many, many hats as a business owner. And you'll definitely learn that real quick. All right, so real quick, 2 last comments here. We got Kim, 100% agree. Family working together is a huge blessing. To work with my 72-year-old veteran father is a huge blessing to me. Kim, I loved your story on school. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So definitely inspiring. And you're also, the battle you've been going through with your health and everything is even more inspiring. So I'm glad you're healthy enough to be able to help and work with your dad. That's pretty cool. And then Audrey, my girls are 6 and 8, and they love helping plant, which is so cool. So yeah, definitely a nice plus. All right. So we ready to get in some giveaways here?
Let's do it.
All right.
Do it.
So I'm going to bring up this wheel of names. If your name is missing from this, then please say so in the comments. I don't even know which wheel I'm going to end up bringing up here because I got a bunch of them. Let's see. I want to make sure I bring up the right one here. Share, maybe. And then if I bring this guy up, add to stage. I think. All right, maybe not. Well, that stinks. How the heck do I get that up there? Full
It's
screen
there.
layout.
Oh, no, it's there.
There it is.
Where do you see it? I don't
I
see
see it. Yeah, I see it.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess maybe I can't see it because I'm sharing.
Press Control Enter to spin.
All right. So these are all the people that are members of Urban Ag Academy that have also taken the time to do what we asked them to do to enter into the contest. So we're going to give you guys about 30 seconds. If you feel like your name should be on this list and we missed you by some crazy way, then definitely comment below and we'll get your name added. Again, this is for Urban Ag Academy members only. And this is also the ones that entered into the contest using the methods that we requested. So if you don't see your name, say something. And if not, we'll give it about another 10, 15 seconds. And then we'll go ahead and start spinning away. All right, I'm glad you see it, Kim. So again, up for grabs is going to be a 1 hour one-on-one with me, a full rack of lights that Robert is giving, and a Let's Grow kit that is coming from Josh, and 6 months of Farm Flow. Now, if you don't have a Farm Flow membership already, don't worry about it. You get your 6 months basically to start. But if you're already a customer and you're already signed up and you're already paying, then basically I'll give you 6 months for free, towards your existing membership. So no matter where you are in the process, you'll get your 6 months regardless. And somebody asked which lights are best. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, that was Kim's question. So Robert, you've got Sunblaster T5s, right?
Yeah.
And
then the Barina, the Sunblaster T5, they're fluorescents, and then I have the Barina T8s.
Okay, and they have the option of one of those two, I assume.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I haven't seen anybody say that their name's not in the list, so let's go ahead and spin for the first winner here. So good luck, everybody. Coming around. It might be Jeff, might be Audrey. Looks like it might be Jeff.
Look at that.
All right. Nice. So Jeffrey, you can reach out to us and through the chat. Let us know what prize you would like. So again, you've got the option to choose the one-on-one 1 hour consultation with me, a full rack of lights, either the Barina T8s or the Sunblaster T5s from Robert. You can do 6 months of Farm Flow from me, or you can do the Let's Grow kit, which has 4 pounds of seed and some trays from Josh. So just put in the comment what you would like to get. So Jeff's got first choice of those options. So we'll go ahead and remove him from the list. And then we'll go ahead and spin for the next one. All right. Good luck, everybody, once again. Oh, it might be Jen. All right, Jen. So, Jen, you have second choice. So we'll wait to find out what Jeffrey wants. So Jeffrey took the one-on-one with me. Awesome. So, Jeffrey, I will reach out to you directly and get that scheduled. So that's definitely a nice prize to get. So, Jen, if you're in here, you get second choice. Hopefully you're somewhere on this call. And if not, we'll give you a couple minutes. And if you don't pick something, then we'll just assume you're not here and we'll give you whatever's left at the end. All right. So let's see. We'll go ahead and move Jen. All right. Now we're going to continue on here. I'll just pick all the winners and we'll figure out the prizes as we go. That'd be the easiest way to do it. Well, it looks like it's going to be Olivia. Nice. All right. So Olivia has third choice. So Olivia, if you're in here, I don't know if I've seen any of your comments or not scrolling through, but if you're in here, you have the option between the Let's Grow kit from Josh, 4 pounds of seed and some trays. You've got the lights from Robert, the Barina T8s or the Sunblaster T5s, or you've got 6 months worth of Farm Flow. Your choice. All right, let's see. So it's definitely good to be here because if these guys don't answer, then I'm assuming they're not on the call, and you have a better chance of winning something. So Jen or Olivia, if you are here, make sure you comment. Oh, Austin. Oh my goodness, that was close. Wow.
Man, that was dirty.
Yeah. Danielle, I'm pretty sure you're on here. I thought I saw your name pop up. So you've got the option of all those prizes I mentioned before. So feel free to pick what you want. So you got lights, the Let's Grow kit, or 6 months of Farm Flow. All right. So Danielle's got 4th choice. And we got anything left? Trying to think. How many prizes we got?
All right. We got one more set of lights, I guess, if we just want to spin the wheel and if there's 2 sets.
Yeah, we could do 2 sets.
Okay. Yeah.
Might as well.
We'll do one more. One more, and then we'll call it.
Yep.
All right. So, Austin.
Redemption.
There it is.
It's still going.
Nice. All right. So Austin said Danielle has flooding issues, so I'm glad she got it. So that's crazy. Hopefully everything's going okay with her. So Austin, you might very well have second choice, my friend, because I haven't seen anybody else comment yet. So you can choose between the 6 months of Farm Flow, either the T8 Barinas or the T5 Sunblaster full rack of lights from Robert, or the Let's Grow kit, which has the seeds and the trays. So just comment and let us know what you want. And I think that would be it for the giveaway. Pretty sure. I think that's everything.
Yeah, we got a bonus.
Good. Oh, yeah, that's true. We do have the bonus.
Now, while we're
waiting. That's the other thing.
While we're waiting real quick, I did see a comment from Joan. What is the difference between watering once or twice a day, variety or stage of microgreen? Well, I mean, of course, if you're in germination and you just planted, right, that first 3 days, you don't need to water twice a day. I encourage you to at least look once a day and try to catch any mold or catch any potential issues. But as far as watering, twice a day, once a day, twice a day during that later stages of microgreen, it depends on a couple of things. One, temperature. If you're running high temps, right, you're probably going to have to water twice. And high temps like 78 and to 82 is really what I would call high. I try to set mine for about 75, 72 to 75. And it depends on your media too. So something Andy uses is called Coco Loco, and that's something that we've transitioned to. It works well. I think Robert uses it also.
I was using it, but I had too many humidity issues, so it probably would work for me. It would just take some more testing, and with our move and all that, I'm like, I got to put it on the back burner for a little bit.
Cool. So what do you use now? ProMix?
ProMix. I've been using VX because it holds the water better. HP will definitely dry out on you.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we like the Farm Flow, or Farm Flow, Coco Loco, but we're not nearly as humid as you are. It's pretty humid here. We definitely found we have to, we manage the water correctly. It grows fantastic. We tried switching to ProMix and just didn't care for how dry it was. That was what killed us every single time.
Yeah.
So Austin's taking your T8s, Robert.
There we go.
So Austin, you can reach out to Robert on school, and just hit him up, and you guys can get that figured out. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the bonus drawing, which not a lot of you entered into. I was kind of surprised by that. Get this guy brought all the way up here. There we go. Share. So we only had 3 entries for this.
There we go.
If you're in that list, you got a very good chance of winning. This is for 1 pound of Hale's Best Cantaloupe microgreen seeds.
33.3% chance.
Yep, that's it. So we only had 3 people enter. This was a kind of a second thing we added just today. So can you guys see that screen okay?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So let's see who's going to win. It's going to be Mark. Well, Mark has 2/3 of a chance of winning here. We got 2 Marks on the list. So good luck, everybody. This would be for the 1 pound of Hale's Best Cantaloupe seed. It looks like it's going to be Mark Allred. Nice. All right, so Mark, congratulations. You won the 1 pound of seeds. So get with Bagel on that one. You guys can hit up each other on school or whatever you want to do, and we'll get that sent out to you. That's awesome. All right, cool.
I love it.
Yeah, man. Cool. So Jeff's getting the 1-on-1. Austin's getting the T8s. Jen, Olivia, and Danielle will comment and tag those guys on school. Make sure they get their things. And Mark, you get that cantaloupe seed, man. So congrats.
Yeah. So for y'all that have been taking notes, if y'all took anything away from tonight, mindset is definitely important, but it's something that you have to get after it. All right, you can't just let up. There's no secret hack to it. Process is another extremely critical component to any business, and I think we hit on the talking about chefs and commitment to quality in general. But the big thing here, guys, I want you to understand is starting a business. You're gonna have your ups. You're gonna have your downs. Sometimes you're gonna have more downs than your ups. And honestly, that's probably going to be the case for a lot of y'all starting up. You're going to feel bad on numerous days back to back to back. There's light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to keep going. So that's why I say there's no real secret to that mindset. It's something that it just has to be ingrained. You physically ingrain it into yourself, into your process. And if you experience burnout, take a break, reset, and come back.
Yep. Yeah, because if anything will beat you down, it's running a small business. It's tough. It's not easy, but that's that mentality piece that Josh is talking about. You got to be willing to power through it, no matter how good or bad it gets. Because we spent the last 8-9 months trying to move into this new space. Every day's been a nightmare trying to get that moving, but we just powered through it, and now it's done. Now we can move forward and really start growing. So,
if it was easy,
that's really.
If it was easy, we'd all be in 4,000 square foot warehouses.
Yeah,
Yep,
no doubt.
100%. Yep. We'd all be retiring next year if it was that easy. But it's not an easy. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. But if you find good mentors, that's a huge plus. That's why I'd highly encourage you join the Urban Ag Academy on school. 3 of us are in there all the time. So we're going to continue to post content to the classroom area. And obviously we're there all the time for questions and answers in there as well. We're going to try and do more of this kind of stuff on a regular basis. This was kind of a nice little celebration too for our 100 members that we just got as of last week. So we appreciate you all. That grew very, very fast. I think we were only up for about 2 to 3 weeks and we already hit 100 people. So it's definitely a huge plus. But our goal is to really turn this into just a content building zone, not just microgreens. We'll eventually have mushrooms and edible flowers that Robert's working on and, chickens and all kinds of different stuff. We really want to be able to give you guys lots of great information about just homesteading in general, how to do your own thing and grow your own food and whatever. So that's really our long-term goal with it. So the more support we get, the more we'll have available resource-wise to be able to bring in those experts, and get them to do the content for us. So it's definitely a big plus. So we've got big dreams for this.
Yeah, that's a big thing too, is, we talked about something that sets us apart from our competitors. If you're able to bring more than one offering, right? Other than microgreen, maybe lettuce, maybe flowers, maybe mushrooms in combination, that's something that is really going to set you apart from your competition.
Yep, 100%. That's it. So yeah, get out there and get started if you haven't already. If you're already there, find a mentor, whether it's one of us or not. It's completely up to you what direction you decide to go. But find somebody that's really killing it out there and latch on to them to a certain extent, because they can help you get through all the little crap that you have to deal with, especially initially. And even if you're at that point where you're ready to move to the next level, we've all been there. We all had to make that decision and say, do I want to do this full time? Can I really do this? Can I support myself? Can I take the chance on getting this commercial space? Can I hire people? All those things. We've been there. We've already done all that stuff. So we can help you through that whole entire piece of it. But that's the biggest thing is just getting out there and getting going, man. 100%. 100%. Kim, appreciate the comment, Kim. Yep. Yeah, we try and make it worth it. That's the thing. We're all 3 of us are all about quality and all about helping people out. And that's why we're so successful with that group. So get in there, become part of it. I guarantee you're going to find that money is well spent. Just in the prizes we gave away tonight. If you won one of those, you're easily paid for your membership for probably the next 2 months. So easy peasy. I don't know if we lost Robert or not, but you got anything else, Josh, you want to close out with?
Not really, man. That's it. We've had a great live, great support from everybody involved. I hope y'all guys, when we do these lives, please take notes. All right. And then let's circle back in the school community if there's anything that you want clarification on. That's what that's for. There's definitely new content coming. We're working on towers here at our facility, so that's some new material that you're going to be looking forward to. And I really, really think that the future of urban farming is looking really good. Um, the supply chain was exposed during 2020, right? Everybody ran out of toilet paper and freaked out. So, everyone's looking for more local supply chain, right? Whether it's through produce, whether it's through other groceries, right? It doesn't matter. Everyone likes shopping local. So this is something that we're definitely at the forefront on. And it's a beautiful thing for everyone involved. So I appreciate all the love, all the support. And I think that we're going to go ahead and close out on that.
Yeah, sounds good. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you in school or we'll see you on Facebook or whatever. So find us through those means, but definitely check out our school group 100% Urban Ag Academy. All you got to do is search for it.
All right,
Thanks,
y'all.
guys. Have a great night.